Hopefully, I think you can see my screen. Okay, so a quick recap. We have covered what we have covered for this season. So maybe this should be the last week for this course. From the next week onwards, the new course should be there again. So first of all, we have covered the basic SQL as well as Python part. Then a quick chapters on top of business intelligence, on top of data engineering. So that has also been covered by last class. So there are two more things we will be covering by this season. One is called cloud computing because this is an integrated part now onwards. I mean, each of the data engineers they must also have learned this kind of stuffs. Maybe sometimes they need to spin up some server or some data related things. Or if anyone is working in a support related project, they need also take care for a particular database handling part. I mean, the DBA kind of stuff, sometimes if the project is very small or the company is not very big, so they do not, I mean, DBA is not a separate one, separate team over there. So if everything is in cloud, so the data team can build the same thing by their end. So this kind of stuffs, if we have quite knowledge in the cloud computing, then we can do these things from the data engineer perspective from our side as well. But for the big company or big vendor, they are also using the separate DBA team or maybe separate IT infrastructure team for controlling this kind of AWS architecture and all. But this is totally dependent on which project we are working. But if we have some knowledge on top of that, it should be help us for gathering knowledge or give the suggestion which kind of component we need or this kind of stuffs. Okay, let's go. I mean, just going to this thing briefly with the introduction today and some more detail level component uh, we can discuss tomorrow in tomorrow's class. Okay, so let's get started. What is cloud computing at all? I mean, let me zoom the. Okay, so cloud computing. So it means, yeah. So basically, what we are doing in our system as well. I am just going to give a lecture over here. This is maybe a hardware in front of my. I mean, it's a laptop in front of mine. Okay, so I'm just going to teach you this thing. So maybe I need to install some more software, uh, and then I can check whichever software I need to install that is not compatible with my system. Then we need to buy another laptop which is having higher configuration and which can be accommodate that software. So then again for that particular software we just need to install that software. We need to buy another laptop with high configuration. But after 2 or 3 years again, for the new version of that software we can see the configuration has been updated again. Now the new laptop is not in work because they need a higher configuration again. So this kind of stuffs is, I mean, if this is the stuffs and this kind of scenario, the software is, uh, I mean, this needs to be controlled with higher hard drives or maybe SSD is required there, or maybe higher RAM is required. So why we cannot, I mean, we can leave this kind of physical server from our side. We can rent a cloud server. Maybe I can rent a cloud EC2 server from AWS, and then we can teach the same thing. We can install the software. So we can, I mean, in the cloud, we have the various option in front of us, which kind of server we required. Maybe it's a 6 GB RAM, maybe it's a 8 GB RAM. According to the hard drive, what kind of hard drive I required, I can directly purchase it from there. I can use it, and when my requirement is done, when I have, I mean, enough knowledge on that software, I can just turn off or shut down. I can just sell it over there. We can say with the full price. Okay, so this is the concept of cloud. Whatever thing we required, so pay as, I mean, pay the price whatever you have used. So this is the concept. You do not have to buy the entire thing. Even when I'll be selling that particular hard drive or that particular laptop, it will not give me, it will not give me the full price. Okay, but for the cloud, I'll be taking the thing, whatever is required from my side. The particular hardware and everything is there in particular region. We need to choose the thing. That is latter case. But there is some hardware, obviously. But we are using this thing as a cloud perspective. We just select the thing, we require this thing, and they will assemble the thing within a minute. Okay. And we need to pay accordingly how many hours we have used it. Just like this way. So this is the concept of cloud computing. Nowadays, all the project, maybe in business perspective, for large scale business and all, they're trying to almost, I mean, 50% or more than 50%, they have already migrated from their old system to cloud version. And maybe there is separate IT team to control the clouding part, or maybe the internally the same team is controlling the cloud part. This is a different thing, but they're trying to move everything, every component from the usual hard drive to cloud. Okay, and the new project, which I mean, new maybe new business, they're trying to build their component, their IT infrastructure, their pipelining part directly inside the cloud. They're not using the old framework or old architecture anymore. Okay. So here you can just have a basic properties for what is the usefulness of cloud computing. Cloud computing is the on-demand delivery of compute power. Can receive the compute power as well, database storage, any applications. So which kind of uh, purpose we need to utilize by the cloud computing based on cloud computing will help us. Okay. And pay as you go for pricing. So which, I mean, you can check what should be the payment earlier. So it should be just like list of a shopping mall. So they will be showing us the component, and beside they will be giving us the price list. Maybe sometimes it's dollar per second or just like this for computing power or any other stuffs. So we need to calculate the same thing. We are using 1 hour, so we need to calculate the same way, and we can get the idea how much the component will take if I going to hire these stuffs. Okay, I'll be coming this thing price calculator again. There is another slide, just a basic introduction. That's why cloud computing, and this is, I mean, everywhere the cloud computing, we can say it's very much accustomed by the users in the market. Okay, so there are you can say three cloud uh, providers are there. I mean, those are, I mean, very popular. One is AWS, one is Microsoft Azure, another one is Google Cloud. Okay, so the three company are providing the cloud architecture over here, and I mean, there are, I mean, other things as well, private cloud as well. But over here in this course, we can concentrate on only AWS over there. So, I mean, the particular components in the AWS, how they're giving us their service and all. Okay. So, first of all, this kind of figure, I think you have already seen in earlier earlier session, or any other, maybe if you are a student or if you are going to join in your company, if you just touch the cloud, this kind of figure you have already seen. So, what that kind of significance we can get from this figure? You can see four columns or four boxes over here. That is, first one is on premises, second one is infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service. Okay. So on premises is the old system, or the, I mean, my laptop, we can say. Okay, this thing. Infrastructure as a service. From these three onwards, we are using clouds help, clouds uh, component and all. So first one, infrastructure as a service, we are taking the service from cloud for only infrastructure support. Okay, so we can see over here, this orange colored things are being supported by cloud. They are providing us these services, and this thing are managed by us, you manage. So this kind of stuff. Over here, the first one, this is our laptop only. So we can say this is totally supported by us. We can manage everything on this thing. But cloud provides us three kind of support or three kind of services over here. Infrastructure as a service, cloud provide the service of infrastructure. Over here, cloud provides the entire platform. And the third one, cloud provides the entire software support. Okay. For the first one, just like infrastructure, we can buy only the or we can take rent only the server, EC2 server. Over there, the virtualization, the servers, the storage space, networking, those things are the service providers. Services from cloud. The other part, how to install the application, the data, the runtime, to set up the middleware. The pipeline from particular application where the data should be flown. So this kind of stuffs can be managed by us. That's why it's green color over here. Over in the second chapter or second thing we can see platform as a service. Cloud provide us this kind of help on these platforms. Runtime, middleware. So three more things we can get help from cloud. Cloud will help us for the entire platform. They can give us as a service. So obviously, if we just go ahead in this way, the pricing should be increased because cloud is providing more services. Only application and data can be supported by us. Okay. And the last one, the software as a service, cloud is giving me the ready-made software as well. Just like if we just can purchase any database, just like they are having MySQL, Oracle as well. So if we just select this thing, they will give us the credential and all. We can connect this one. So no need to install the software. We do not need any patching activity as well. So the DBA part, what the database administrator are doing, so entire thing can be managed by software as a services. If we are taking this service from cloud, okay, just like any software, Visual Studio Code, anything. So they are providing this thing on behalf of us. We are not installing it, we are not updating any package. So nothing we need to manage from our side. Everything should be from cloud front. Okay. So those are different kind of services we can get from cloud. So based on our economic system, maybe not ours actually, business economic system, or they will be checking what is efficient way to manage your cost as well as manage your project budget, and maybe what is the project scale, how many business users are going to use that particular thing. Based on that, they need to choose which kind of service they will be going to get from cloud. So what are the advantages? Yeah, actually we are quite aware what are things. Is easier IT system management, low upfront cost, very low cost. It's cost effective thing. The downtime is very low. So maybe they are going to going for a maintenance activity and all. So it's very low time. So we do not need an entire day for software installation, patching activity, updating OS or this kind of stuff. So very low downtime. Disaster recovery. So cloud also give us this opportunity to uh, take the backup from one data center to another. So if something happens for a particular region, suppose our cloud, I am a cloud user from AWS. I create my account within a region, suppose North Virginia. Okay. But they are taking backup of that particular whatever I have taken. They are taking it backup in another region so that if something happens on that data center, then we can get the thing from another data center as well. So that's why can get help as a disaster recovery. Accessibility, we can directly access it from if we have the internet connectivity and all, can directly access from the portal itself from anywhere. Okay. Scalability, suppose we are working in a system, we directly check that we need a hardware or hard disk increment or quick RAM increment over there. So we can directly, scale up the things within a minute from the AWS console itself. That we need to increase 500 GB hard disk again, so we can quickly add it at our servers. Okay, cloud server. So that things, we can quickly scalable I mean, scale up, scale down, anything we can do within a minute over here. We do not need for our laptop to be, we just do not need for the laptop to be go to the service center to add or enhance more dams or just like this. The entire day it will not be wasted. So we can get this kind of scalability, and this is much more important stuffs. So especially when we are using big data technology, maybe we are processing millions of records, but we are having fixed number of master nodes, slave nodes. Then depends on the data size or data blocks, they can assign more resources quickly at the runtime itself. So that is a good example of the scalability. EMR cluster you can heard of. It's a AWS component, and we can assign lots of clusters. We can increase the cluster size as well. Okay, at the runtime. So this kind of operation, especially called scalability, is the, very much advantageous thing at the cloud computing part. Lightweight, obviously, we do not have to carry the component with us. Okay. Till now, any doubt? Just this is the basics. We are just going to have. Okay. Hopefully, no. So, while adopting cloud, we just need to think of we have a good internet connection, we have the good security, we just have to pay recurring monthly costs by our credit card. So, while logging or while creating an account at AWS site, you just have to give your credit card number. Okay. So, it should be auto deducted from your credit card. Whatever monthly cost or everything is there. It's not auto deducted actually. The billing should be there and you need to pay the same. Some limited control is there as well. Okay. Now I'm just going to enter AWS. So, whatever I told that we have several kind of cloud providers. One is AWS, one is Azure. Azure is a Microsoft product. Google Cloud is there. So we are taking AWS over here in our courses. Okay. So just let me show. How if we just going ahead with AWS console, yeah, this is the login page for AWS. So first of all, you need to create an account, AWS account. Okay. And by this account, hopefully, if you are the owner of the account, you should be having the root user permission. And if you want to give any other people's access to this account, you can create separate security that is called IAM user. And based on that, you can give access to them and they can log in through IAM users. Okay. So this is the concept. And that's why, we can create the AWS account and everything with the detailing part and all. So if you want any hands-on at your side for spinning up any new component or anything, you can go ahead with logging in and creating any account over there. But I'll be coming to this point. You have to be cautious because if each of the product is having its own cost. So be aware of the cost first. We have some free tier services as well. I'll be coming this thing. So we need to check which is the free tier. If we are beginner of AWS user, then we need to choose which kind of services we can take so that this is free tier. No cost should be involved. So I'll be coming to this thing later sides. Okay. So first of all, if we log into AWS, we have an account over there. If we just log in, then it is called the AWS console at the first page. Okay. So it will be showing how many. Okay, let me just maximize the screen. So over here, the console looks like in this format, and over there, the components they're showing over here. In this way. Just like for compute, there is EC2, Lambda, Batch, Elastic Benchtalk. Those are very important. I think you have also heard of this thing. If you are just attached with a particular technical team or If you're learning in any college or anywhere, you should be having, I mean, you should have heard about these words and all. Storage, there's S3. Blockchain is there, satellite, quantum technologies. I mean, even I do not have experience for all of this, because for my project purpose, I just use for some of the components. But uh, I mean, in the same thing, you can also get, or you will be accustomed more. I mean, more you will use the thing, you can learn the thing. But each of the component, you can get idea. There is good AWS documentation as well in website, so you can check it at there. But from the brief level, basic level, what are the main components? We can quickly go through the thing by this course. Okay. So the console looks like in this way. I just take a snap. Okay. Now at the right hand side, right top corner, we can see which is the region. So while creating the account, we need to check what region I'll be going to take my account. Okay. So just we need to choose which account is nearer to me. Obviously, if we just choose a component nearer to me, then there will be less lag. Okay. So you'll be working from your web portal, but suppose you are opening a server. Server will take time if the server is far more distance from your physical location. So the time is not actually huge, but the time is very less comparatively to. But if you can compare the nearby hosting region, then you can get some difference that the nearby one is having faster performance. Okay, so that's why I'll be suggesting to choose your nearest location. Then spin up the components. I mean, which services you will be taking, you can take it this way. Okay, so going to the next slide. So it's totally theoretical. Actually, I do not have an account to show you. In next courses, I'll be asking to Lohit to have some account or free tier account with us so that we can quick go through on top of this AWS consoles and all. But as of now, I have taken this particular snaps from website so that I can show you what are the important features and how to configure your AWS console and how to spin up new components at your side. Okay. So going to the next slide. Okay. So over here we can see it's a search bar option over here. And over there is a services option. So I'm just going to the services option first. So if we just hover your mouse over there, you can see all kind of services that the AWS will be providing to us. It will be mentioning over here. So based on your project requirement, maybe your architect, your team architect or product owner, they will be deciding which are the components we will be taking from AWS or maybe from other cloud providers. And then we need to search, or they will be searching for us actually for analytics, which kind of tool we need to take. They will be checking and they will confirm us. Maybe we can spin it up. Maybe IT infrastructure team can spin it up for us. So anything, but for the basics, we can see all the services over here. Okay. So for each of the services, there are lots of components. So now it's your turn which component you will be taking. It's totally based on which particular things you will be handling. Okay. And the search button, I mean, there is a search bar over there. You can directly type the component name. So in a particular, suppose in analytics service or maybe compute service over there, you need a server. The server is called EC2 server, Elastic Cloud Computing Server. That is the same, just like Windows or Linux server or just like this. So you directly type EC2 over here in the search bar. Okay. Or S3 bucket. S3. S3 is a cloud storage, I mean, a storage device, we can say. It's very low cost. So maybe we are having external hard disks, just like same thing. Cloud storage is there, just like drive. So this is also storage thing. Backend, they are using this kind of component over there. Okay. So in AWS, that is S3 bucket. So you can directly type S3 and here all the S3 should be coming over here. Root 53, it's a network component. I'll be coming to this thing later. So this search bar, we can directly type and go ahead with the component stuff. Okay, moving to next slide. So I'm just going with a brief introduction of each of the services, the main services actually. So first of all, we have analytics services. So obviously, as per the name, we can get help the analytics part. So there are lots of services. I have taken the main services as well. And in the right hand side, you can see what are the services name, just like Amazon Athena, Amazon EMR. EMR is also using for big data processing. Maybe in later section or just like this, if we have some big data courses, then we'll be taking this EMR for clustering part to understand how the data can be partitioned among different clusters and all. So then we can take this EMR as an hands-on experience. Okay. Amazon Redshift is there, Amazon Kinesis, Amazon Open Search Services, Amazon QuickSight, Amazon Glue. So each of the thing, all the things are not same. Actually, you can see there is different use cases. So for each of the things, just like we need data warehousing, we need to store our data. We need to take something from AWS cloud. So we can choose it. I mean, Amazon Redshift there. Okay. So in OLTP, we are taking data from several source systems, but we are managing the target only. If this is the scenario, then we can choose AWS Redshift, Amazon Redshift as a data warehousing component over there. So I can spin up a Redshift server, I mean Redshift database, uh, and then we can store all of our data, whatever we have covered till yesterday. By ETL tool, we can push our data into this Amazon Redshift. On top of Amazon Redshift, we can create our data mart as well, fact, dimension, and on top of that, the data scientist can put query on top of Amazon Redshift, and they can build their things at their own. The analytics part, maybe visualization team can take Redshift data, and they are building their report in different visualization tool. Okay, so those are called analytics services. Okay, we have data lake services. Data lake means where we are storing the data. So there are S3 bucket, S3 Glacier. Glacier is for backing up or archive. The fetching of the data is very slow at the Glacier side and it's very low cost as well. So for backup or archive of this S3, we can take Glaciers. Besides, we have Glue for data catalog. So those are the data lake. But the main important stuffs are S3. I think you have also heard of that S3 bucket. So it's very, very important. And nowadays, everyone is using this thing, S3 bucket, for their project purpose. Okay. For compute services, we all are having this AWS EC2, AWS Lambda function, Elastic Beanstalk, Target, AWS Wavelength. We have already covered. Just telling this component's name. Maybe tomorrow I'll be having a session with having some detailing part with each of the component. I'll not be covering all the component. I'll be taking some main component and how to create those component from AWS console itself. Today I'm just covering what are the components and how to choose which component we need to take. Okay. But that particular decision should be from architect actually, not from the developer or not from the beginner. So they will be taking the decision. Maybe it's with us or it may be directly with the IT infrastructure team to spin up. Spin up means to create this kind of component from AWS. How to create this thing. So that thing we can learn tomorrow. Today I'm just going to cover the basic things. What are the services we can take? What are the different components? Actually, there are lots of components. We cannot, a single person cannot use everything over there. Totally based on your business requirement. Okay. So compute service means the same thing. Over here, I'm showing you the PPT. My server, my laptop is the computing. Doing this computing part on behalf of me. So the same thing, I can open an EC2 server from the portal, and there I can install the PowerPoint, and I can show the same thing. So this is called, the server related part. It's controlled by EC2. The first one, EC2 is also called Elastic Cloud Compute. Okay, this is very much important as well, just like S3. So, I mean, in each of the project, you can see EC2 is being used for everywhere for variety kind of servers for different OS, just like Linux, Windows, can launch this EC2. Okay. Okay. Tomorrow we'll be going in deeper for EC2 learning part. Okay. Um, Apart from that, we have several database services as well. So we learn MySQL over here in my local system. The same thing can be provided from AWS as well. So if you just choose this kind of a software related thing, they can directly give you the ID and password. You can directly log into the portal and just you can take help of the database. Database storage, everything can be managed by them. Just we need to push the database size. I mean, from our side in the portal AWS console, and they will create everything for us. Okay. Suppose our data is getting increased day by day. We are checking that the performance of database is very slow. Then what we can do, we can increase the database size over there at the portal at any time. Okay. So various kind of databases can be supported. I mean, we can get services from AWS, just like Aurora, Postgres, MySQL, Oracle. There is no SQL database as well. Those are SQL relational database. No SQL database, just like DynamoDB. Neptune, we are getting, if you are just working on the graph theory kind of stuff. It's also not SQL manner. It's not a relational database, but this kind of graph theory, I mean, graphical database, we can say. It's also been supported by AWS. Neptune is a component. Okay. Any doubt till now? Okay. Hopefully no. But if there is anything, if the, I mean, particular thing is getting, I mean, boring, then please stop me and ask me questions and all. I'll be trying to answer your questions and based on my experience, I'll be helping you whatever I know, then can try to give the same information from my side. Okay, going to the next slide, cost management. So yeah, as I told that we need to check what is the estimation. So I'll be going to spin up some component without knowing the cost of the thing. Later we can check. I received the bill for 1 month, suppose $1,000 for maybe using EC2 for all the time. I did not turn off this. I did not segregated my hard disk, which is not been used. So then we can see lots of price has been involved over there. So that's why it's when using a particular component, by spinning up a particular component, we need to check from the calculator what are the cost, what is the cost for that particular services. Let I have a link over here. Let me check. When I have created, I put the link. Let me check what the link consists of. As per the name, it should be having some issue too. Okay, they are directly helping us with the configuring part of EC2. I'm not going to configure. Yes. Okay. Yeah. In this particular thing, we can see. I'll be going to this thing later tomorrow as well. Just a basic example. So over there, EC2 is a server. As I told, those are the server name, just like T4G Nano, T3G Nano, and the specification as well. The CPU should be 2 CPU counts. Memory is 0.5 GB. It's very less mm, compared to our system. But we can see higher RAM as well over there. If we scroll it down, okay, 2 GB is maximum, but we need to choose another thing. So yeah, there's lots of instances are there. If we just go further beyond it, then we can see there is 8 GB, 16 GB servers are also available. At the beginning, there is it start with the sorting. It's sorted with low cost or low configuration as well. Over there, we can see it's 0.0042 dollar per second. It's on demand. Dollar per minute, I'm assuming. Okay. So how much minute we are using it? Based on that, it should the price should be there. So we can calculate that. Maybe I'm running a project maybe I am doing the thing for practice purpose. Maybe within 2 days I'll be completing that steps. So I can launch a server. I can estimate within 2 days how much dollar I need to pay, or just like this. Based on that, I can quickly calculate the thing. It's very less. We can spin up that particular server by our own. Save and add services, and we have some more things need to fill up at the portal side, and then we can spin up that server. Then we can access that server from our side. Okay. But the pricing thing I just want to mention over here, it's just like this way. Okay. So this is price chart. But we need to, I mean, it's very much important to check the pricing thing first before spinning up any of the components. If you are doing this thing by your own. Okay. Okay. So AWS, not only AWS, actually every cloud providers, they are having some free tier account. So in the free tier account, they are providing some free services. So free services means, I mean, maybe some storage spaces they will be giving us free. Some EC2 instances with very low configuration, they will be giving us free for some days for our hands-on perspective. Some other components, some serverless architectures, just like Lambda functions, step functions. So they'll be giving us with free access with very few, not very few actually, some debugging of the codes. But the debugging of the codes are limited. Maybe 1,000 codes, 1,000 computing codes they will be giving us as a free component. So you can search up the free tier component, switch at the free tier component. I already have gone through this thing. Okay. Oh, this. Okay, I think this is a free tier. Yeah, just search in Google AWS free tier. It will be helping you with the component name, just like Amazon EC2. In particular, just like T2 micro, T3 micro, those instances we can get at the free tier account. T2 micro, there may be 1 GB RAM, some small hard disk, or some, I mean, maybe two or three core, I mean, two or four cores are available, CPU. So T2 micro, T3 micro for 750 hours, we can use it as a free tier. So it is not chargeable. For S3 bucket, till 5 GB storage, it's 12 months. I mean, we can use for 12 months, it's free. And just like 20,000 get request, put request. Okay, what is this thing? So in bucket, we can, I mean, while we are pushing the thing over there, we can use those kind of code. Put means pushing the thing. We are pushing the thing in bucket. Get means we are taking that thing from S3 bucket. So those kind of request we can have 2,000 put request, 20,000 get request as a free tier account. Okay. So this is the RDS. RDS one kind of database is there. Oh, what kind of database we can get? MySQL, Postgre, MariaDB, SQL Server. So 750 hours free. We can just search the free tier account. There are lots of things. Just like Lambda function, 1 million free request per month. So we can run 1 million code there. It's always free. No 12 months restriction is just like this. So Lambda, if we just want to go ahead with Python practice over there, no need to install PyCharm. We can directly go to it's a serverless architecture Lambda. We can directly put the code there and we can run the code. Okay. In Lambda, I mean, we can run 1 million of free codes. I mean, codes over there. Yeah, lots of things are there. We can just check it if we have our interest. Can quickly check it what the free tier. We can go ahead with these free tiers as well. for Amazon Redshift, that one is for analytics purpose. I told you for data warehousing part, you can also get some free tier account, free tier component for 2 months. Okay, but this should be the sizing architecture 750 DC to large mode. Obviously, if we are using free tier, we can see the architecture is or maybe the configuration is not very big. It's very small. It's just for our heads. I mean, hands-on, quick hands-on. I mean, we are quite accustomed to AWS or just like this. Okay. Till now, any doubt? Okay, hopefully no. So AWS free tier, then we have IAM, that is called Identity Access Management. So I can control who will be. I told you this thing earlier. Maybe I'm the root user. If I am the owner of the account, AWS account, then I can create. Maybe I'm launching an EC2 server. I have S3 bucket. I have networks, different networking things and all. Lots of computational components I am having, but maybe under myself lots of team members are working. Okay, so each of them is working in different component. Suppose one just need access to S3 bucket, um, then one of them need the access to the EC2 server. Then I can create those kind of security implementation at the AWS component itself. So IAM is that particular part, access management. We can create particular AD groups for the users and give them the AD groups. And I mean, we can add their name as well in the AD groups. Then they can access their components only. They cannot use all of their components. They can use their components. So IAM is the identity access management, and every access, I mean, for a particular component or every components can control by this IAM. Okay, there is CloudWatch as well. So we can check our CPU utilization, our disk spaces. For this networking part, we can check packets in, packets out, or just like, I mean, we can go ahead with the statistics part. Whatever we have took rent for our account, for this particular account, we can check our utilization part and all. Okay. So it's also very much helpful. I mean, while paying your bill or to check how much thing you are consuming as a graphical format. So that is called CloudWatch. It's also a component over there in AWS. You can just type CloudWatch over there in the search bar and enter it. Then just click on top of CloudWatch. It will be showing you your component statistics in this manner. Okay, for networking, control your networking stuffs. Those are the thing: VPC, subnet, VPC, virtual private cloud, subnets. I mean, what are the free IPs available? I mean, if you are launching a server, you must have to assign some IPs over there. Otherwise, you cannot control it from your network or from your portal. It should be having a network IP address. Otherwise, it should not be available. So, I need to check in particular region what are the subnets available in the subnets. How much free IPs are available over there. In that, I just need to assign one IP. Okay. So this kind of IP related concept is also there. I'll be going through while launching a particular EC2, maybe in tomorrow's session, a brand new EC2, new server, by the screenshot, obviously. And step by step screenshots are there. So we can go ahead how to assign a particular IP address to the EC2 and all load balancing part. So those can be controlled easily over there. I mean, we do not have to wait for the network team again. We can do this thing from our side itself. Okay. So I think we have covered most of the thing. Okay. So at the end, when everything is ready, or maybe from the architectural perspective, what kind of components we need to use and all, they can create this kind of pipeline earlier at their side. Then we can build the things at launching each of the component. Those are AWS component. Okay. S3 bucket, EMR clusters, then again S3 buckets. So based on the requirement, project requirement, suppose we are getting the source OLTP data and we are storing it by in S3 bucket. Then from S3 bucket, we are pushing it to EMR, and from EMR, then again I mean, whatever we are getting output, we are pushing it to S3 bucket. From S3 bucket, we are calling those files and pushing it to tabular format in Redshift. From Redshift, we are going ahead with analytics part and all. I mean, we are checking the data in graphical format. So maybe those are the pipeline we can say, and we can spin up those by kind of component at our own, and we can build our project. But this is for large scale. So mainly for the big industry, they can spin up these things at their side for doing different kind of stuffs. Okay, but this thing looks like in this way. I mean, when we can assemble the thing, when the architecture are designing their architectural, what should be the new projects component and all, they can design in this way, and we can go ahead developing that part on data or just like this. Okay. Yeah, that's all as of now. In tomorrow's session, we'll be covering some detailing part for some of the components, specifically AWS EC2 server, S3 bucket. If there is some more, maybe I'll be checking EMR as well. So we can go through this thing with detailed manner, how to spin up or how to launch the thing from our side and how to work on top of that thing. Okay. So that's all for today's session. If any doubt is there, please tell me.